finally. You know what? Let's be honest. It dropped. I wanted to think about it a little bit. And then I wanted to start recording. So let's get to the business. To defeat the Huns. No, this isn't Mulan. Anyways, quick shout outs. Trying to reach 1,000 on everything. 1,000 follows, 1,000 subscribers. So if you like the content, make sure you give us that like, subscribe. Let me know what you think. And let's get to it, because after days of waiting, the Canadian roster has finally dropped yesterday. We're talking about it today. Also, we're talking about the men's roster. We're still waiting for women's roster and friendly announcements, to be honest. So, you Canada soccer when you all gonna drop that. Just saying. Anyways, on with the show. So let's talk about this roster as it's going. Things that we notice, things we like, things we don't like, what we can glean from it. And I always do this with every roster, so let's get to it. Let's first start off with the players who are selected. The players who were selected to join this lovely friendly window where we'll be playing Uruguay and Qatar in a place. We'll get to the locations anyways. At goalkeepers, we have Milan Borjan, Maxime Crépeau, Dane St. Clair. Defenders, Sam Adekugbe, Derek Cornelius, Alfonso Davies, Alistair Johnston, Scott Kennedy, Richie Larea, Kamal Miller, Steven Vittoria, Joel Waterman. Midfielders, Stephen Eustachio, Mark Anthony Kay, Ishmael Kone, Jonathan Osorio, and Samuel Piet. And forwards, Charles Andreas Brim, Tejan Buchanan, Lucas Cavallini, Theo Corbinu. No one has told me otherwise, so we're going to say both until someone says it. Jonathan David, Junior Hoylett, Luca Coliosho, Kyle Laren, Liam Miller, and Ike Ugbo. 27 players. Of note, there were a few injuries beforehand. David Witherspoon is recovering and is just starting to hit the pitch for training, so he was not available. Daniil Henry apparently picked up a knock and wasn't available for this. And the big name that we're waiting on is Atiba Hutchinson, who has a bone spur or a bone bruise. I don't know why I said bone spur, but a bone bruise. And this has been keeping him out of training and games. So that's the big question, because I think just for being there, if any Canadian player deserves to be at the World Cup, it's Atiba. He's been the elder statesman, the bannerman for this team for so many years. He's seen 8-1, he's seen unattached FC, and to get him to a World Cup would mean the world, I think, for us as fans, and for him in his career as a perfect send-off. But that's what it is. So there's a few things with this roster which were also noted. This roster was put out. This is after it was revealed that Serbia was calling up Stefan Mitrovic. And I mean, there's a whole conversation with that, but we'll have that later. But also the Tom Holmes situation. We got a little bit of clarification on that. The simple way to explain it is he is eligible by FIFA rules, but he's not eligible to get a citizenship in Canada. So it is not a FIFA issue. It is a Canada issue in terms of getting the citizenship and whatnot. So it's not impossible, but it's pretty... chances of it happening are very low. It would take, a switch up. But let's get back to the fun of it. So, what do I think about this roster? Names I like. Firstly, it's good to see players back. Good to see Theo back. Good to see Charles Andreas Brim back. And I know Charles, with some fans, gets a lot of the bad rap, and it's mainly because he's seen as one of the players. It's not his fault, in my opinion. I think someone just claimed that he was, apparently ranked higher than another player, and people have not let that comparison go, and it's not any fault of his own. If you look at him, it's actually very similar how him and Richie Larea had the same type of a season where they made a move, couldn't get any minutes, moved back down to their former clubs, and are getting run. Yes, MLS is not the second division of the Dutch league, but they did the exact same thing. So everybody relax. So it's good to see Charles back. It's good to see Theo back, who's been playing well at Blackpool on loan from Wolves. We're starting from forwards. We'll go move our way down. Ugbo, good to see him getting minutes. Happy to see that. Luca Coliosho apparently had a good camp, while we as fans were like, We brought him in here and everything's on fire. I don't want to remind you guys about June, but June happened. It's good to see that he enjoyed his time there. And as a player, the importance of sometimes when players put out feelers to give them opportunities to come in, it does matter. We're going to do a recruiting video and a thing later on, but it's interesting while this is happening in other CONCACAF news. Ivan Toney, who is of Jamaican descent and was saying whoever calls me first between Jamaica and England just got a call up for England for Nations League. And it's interesting when he simply said, I'm open to play. Whoever calls me first will go. And it looks like England called him first. So sometimes players will let you know what it is. It's not a political ploy. It's not trying to get minutes. It's not things. Sometimes players are just interested and the cues are there and you just gotta, shout out and just put the effort in. But Koleosho said he was interested and Canada reached out. And so far he's liking what he's doing. Again, even if he plays in these games, he won't be properly cap tied. He has played in friendlies, so they aren't necessarily cap tie. You need FIFA windows for that. When we get to the midfield is very slim, which does tell us maybe a little bit of how they may play. Probably not so midfield heavy. And then defenders, Joel Waterman, who's probably one of the better defenders, Canadians in center back specifically in the MLS, totally deserved call up, especially playing with both Alistair Johnson and Kamal Miller. Derek Cornelius has been starting the season off well, so it's good to see him there. Victoria has picked up. Kennedy started getting minutes. Glad to see him going through. So from there, and then your goalkeepers, St. Clair, Crepeau, Bourrion, there's no real surprise there. Canadians having goalkeepers forever. That's just a thing we do. Men's side, even you look at the Canadian clubs, you got Sebastian Breza, you got James Pantemis, you got other goalkeepers, Sirwa, who's playing on loan in the CPL, not to mention goalies like Owen Goodman, who is still Canadian eligible, but is playing at Crystal Palace's U23. Canada's got goalkeepers. We got goalkeepers out the wazoo. So what does this tell us about what Canada may be doing? And let's talk about curiosities here. Alphonso Davies is listed as a defender. Okay. That's a choice. I don't hate it, but if he usually doesn't play in the defense, that means in terms of your backs, proper fullbacks, you have Sam Adekugbe, you have Richie Larea, and you have Alistair Johnston, which tells me you're probably going to play some variation. Just off of that tells me John is probably going to play some variation of a 3-4-3 or maybe a 3-5-2. A 4-4-2 could work here, and then you can kind of vary where you put Davies, but I think you're going to see a 3-4-3 or a 3-5-2. The amount of center backs alone, right? Cornelius, Johnston can play there. Kennedy, Kamal, Victoria, Waterman, that's 6 center backs that you can rotate in. That's with that much depth there. I think that to me screams 3 at the back for this, which is what they have been playing. I know they are very more pragmatic in that sense, but this just screams to me 3 in the back and then maybe max 2 in the midfield, which isn't bad. And then once you get to the forwards, I mean, is Brim a winger or a striker? Tejan's out on the wing. Cavallini, striker. Theo on the wing, can cut in. David, that's another video. That's another conversation. Is David's future? I think his future might be as a 10, as a second striker, because the second striker doesn't exist. And the best version of that you might get maybe essentially, he can be a version of that in like a 4-2-3-1 where he is the center creative man there, which does kind of fill up the void that Canada does have, because if the dual nationals that we've recently lost, we've basically lost attacking midfielders, central attacking midfielders. Flores was one, Mitrovic is one. We're still waiting on Diash. Kone could be an interesting one to fit that profile. I'm not sure if he's ready for that as of yet, but he's definitely earned the call up coming in here, so good to see him. But yeah, midfield wise as well, another low-key thing with this roster. In terms of actual CDMs, we have one pure CDM, which is Sam Piet. Osorio may not even be available because he's still dealing with the neurological effects of injuries and past head injuries that he's had. Then you're looking at Mark Anthony Kaye, who's working back to form. Stefano Eustáquio has had another start, so he's been getting good quality minutes at Porto, so we're glad to see that here. But yeah, lacking of a cam, lacking of a true six, 10s and 6s, we don't have many of, but we got 8s. We got plenty of 8s. I think if you have a team, but that definitely fills the 8 void, and we're definitely hoping for him to be available, but I think this feels like a 3-4-3, a 3-5-2 window. And if you're really creative, maybe you play one of those centrally. Maybe you play Theo centrally to see how that looks. But no, this is very intriguing to me. So again, they are playing both Uruguay and Qatar. I think the first game is Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern time, and then the next game is Tuesday at 11 Eastern time, I think. We'll double check that. There'll be an image that will show what it actually is here. So don't listen to my voice. Read the words. But no, I think within this roster, there's definitely just tell me 3 at the back is where we're going. Max 2 midfielders and lots of attack. You could get away with a 4-4-2 here and then put Johnson as your right back and then Leray as either your left or Sam as your left back and then have Kamal and Victoria in the middle. And then that way you can have Eustáquio there, and then either Mark Anthony Kaye, and then put Davies on the wing, midfield, and then on the right you put Tejan, as he's also moving back. That's the other low-key thing with this. There's lots of players who are coming, if they are available, they'll be coming off of injury. So match fitness, match sharpness will be a little bit off. It definitely will be a little bit off. So it's something to keep in mind and to follow as this continues on. But overall, I don't have many issues with this roster. I like what they've done. I would have loved to see maybe a few more creatives in the midfield. But, I mean, with Mitrovic not there, Diaz still trying to get some minutes. It would have been interesting to see what they have done. But lots of depth on the wing, whether that's Brem, Buchanan, Theo. There's lots there. And it does give us a little flexibility, but this screams to me 3 in the back. But we'll see. Guys, let me know in the comments what you think about this roster. And, we'll just kind of run it from there. Yeah, I'm going to stop rambling now and say bye-bye for now.